coordinator, has been around the league for a long time. You know, I saw him more as a second, third-round quarterback who you got to sit for a year. He's been terrific. And now, slide, please. RG3 didn't learn to slide. Andrew Luck didn't learn to slide. Please learn to slide in the offseason. You will extend your career.
Remember
where Colin was right?
People wanted him to be a wide receiver.
No. He is fast, though. Where Colin was right. Listen, we were the first person to show to bail on the Rams. And we said it's a lot of hot dogging on defense. It's a lot of freelancing. I think Todd Gurley's great, but how many, you give him the ball 300 times? I like Jared Goff, but he's still young. And I think there's, I watched this Rams team. They gave up 8.7 yards a pass to Nick Foles. Isn't the secondary supposed to be their strength? Sam Shields and Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters and the young safeties. I thought their secondary was supposed to be their strength. And Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald, you'd never be able to run on them. Everybody runs on them. We bailed on them a couple of months ago. Their names are bigger than their production.
Where Colin was wrong.
It's not that the Steelers beat New England. We were wrong on that. But they ran the football. They had no running game last couple of weeks. And it's kind of, listen, I was joking about this Friday. I don't even consider it a rivalry. But, we're going to have Ben Volen on in 5-10 minutes here, a Patriots writer. He thinks the dynasty's over. I think it's close to over. But I got to be honest. Who was making the mistakes down the stretch? It was New England. The Steelers were buttoned up down the stretch. The Steelers made their mistakes on 2 back-to-back plays in the first half. They were buttoned up after that. They were focused after that. They made the big plays after that. Couple of great catches by young receivers. That game looked the opposite. I thought it would be New England that would make the plays late. New England would not have the penalties late, and I was wrong.
Where Colin was right?
I don't think I've ever I know this for a fact. I've never predicted an entire conference as accurately as I predicted the AFC. I had the Steelers winning their division, the Patriots winning theirs, the Texans winning theirs, and then I said, keep your eyes on the Indianapolis Colts and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I was not great on the Chiefs. I said they'd be 500 because I'd never seen Patrick Mahomes play a season. So I said, if he's great, my bad. But by and large, if you look at our predictions in the AFC, we have nailed it down to the wild card teams. We said Baltimore and Indy are going to be way better than Vegas thinks, and they have been way better than Vegas thinks, and the teams leading the division are pretty much the teams we said that would lead the division.
Where Colin was wrong.
I love Carson Wentz, and I always say, Nick Foles isn't in his league, but I got to be honest. Nick Foles does something because Carson Wentz gets zoned in on Zach Ertz, the tight end. But there is something between Nick Foles and Alshon Jeffrey, and they just connect. Whatever that relationship is at practice, personal relationship, I have no idea. Maybe the coaches are more comfortable with Alshon Jeffrey throws from Nick Foles. But, I keep going out and saying Wentz is a superstar and Nick's a backup at best. But there is something to be said about what happens when Nick Foles takes over. And you look at Philadelphia's offense last night, it's 6.2 yards of play with Nick Foles. You get 6.2 yards of play in the NFL, you're not going to lose on a lot of Sundays.
Where Colin was right?
Matt Nagy, not Sean McVay, is the young hotshot coach we should be paying attention to. I like McVay. But the media, you know what? McVay's good looking. He's in Los Angeles. He's more glamorous. Well, guess what? The Chicago guy that doesn't have the high perfect model cheekbones is taking Mitch Trubisky, Allen Robinson, Taylor Gabriel, Anthony Miller, and they're 6th in points. And by the way, Pro Football Focus says their 8 best players are all defensive players. Now, I know he's not as hip as McVay. Probably doesn't have the cheekbones, but Matt Nagy is the guy that has taken